Hi, I'm Chris Stefano from Guy Code, and you're listening to WICR.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the final segment of the day. PMP Sports, Matt Lasella, Martino Puccio here with you in the basement of La Penta. It's been a good show so far. Moving on to NFL football. Jets and Giants both played this past Sunday. Both lost. Giants were at home to the Washington Redskins. Really close game throughout of it. The Giants never really pulled away, and the Skins really stayed in that game, and they ended up winning. Odell Beckham, the big story there. Not even just Josh Norman, because Norman wasn't on him the whole game, but when they were matched up against each other, it was very eventful. Odell hitting the field goal catching post on the sideline, and then it hitting him back in the face, and there's footage of him tearing up. Eli had to console him on the sidelines. Really, this guy... Okay. I have a sister, who threw temper tantrums all the time before school. This is literally the same thing. There's pouting in public. He was acting like that child that could not get that toy he wanted in Toys R Us, so he throws a tantrum about it until he gets what he wants. Why do you have a problem with this as a Giants fan?
I have a huge problem with it, and I've publicly had a huge problem with it. And I think there's a few things to point out. One is there's always Sunday, not Sunday, doesn't matter the day. You know, there's always tons of videos of Odell dancing, and not that
you could argue he is the league's biggest star.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with dancing, but the way he conducts himself as, you know, a popular player, and
his touchdown celebrations.
Yeah, and
you
want people to know who you are, and that's fine.
He's like T.O. and Ocho Cinco combined.
He contradicts himself by then behaving like a small child.
He's of the female complete distraction on the team. Yeah,
it's confusing to me because you conduct yourself one way sometimes, and then another way another time, and it's seemingly because you're not getting your way or whatever it is, and it confuses me because to take somebody with that much talent that their brain flips so much to behave. I don't understand it, and I do have a huge problem with it because, one, it's a bad look for the Giants. Two, it's a distraction for the team. Eli's your quarterback. Eli's not your babysitter and your dad. He shouldn't have to take you down the sideline and have words with you, grabbing your shoulder pads to calm you down.
No offense to OBJ, as talented as he is and as great as the numbers he has put up in his young career, he is not Eli Manning. And he does not get the right to act the way he does. He has won nothing.
And he has won nothing. He might be the best raw athlete in all professional sports, or he's like top 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's all subjective.
Of course, but the stuff that he physically can do, it doesn't. Something's not registering, and I'm not understanding how you could behave.
You know what it is? I think he was so good so fast. It really got to his head. He's in New York. He's in the biggest market in the world. Okay, and then he's playing for a Giants team that has history of winning 2 Super Bowls. I think it's getting worse this year, and Ben McAdoo has to actually calm him down because it's a different thing when Tom Coughlin's the authority, and he's a really no-nonsense kind of guy. The jury's still out on Ben McAdoo and the kind of coach he is or will be, but
it's stuff that
you can't do this. You can't do this.
It's like not even.
This is football.
You can't even say first-year stuff because it's not stuff you should just be doing anyway.
On a
job, on a
you can't even do it in college.
You can't even do it anywhere. Well, I don't even understand.
Middle school is about the last level I would tolerate that. Even in high school, I would not tolerate that.
I think I'd tolerate it less in high school than I would in pro sports, to be honest. I'd kick you off the team if I'm your coach in high school.
And you doing that? Yeah, I don't care how good you are. I would sit you on the bench.
Even if you throw all that aside and be like, oh, he's young. Okay, it's not his first year.
You sit him out for
year. It's his third season in the NFL.
You sit him out for a series if I'm McAdoo.
You're team leader, and you're being looked at as one of the greatest players in the game and possibly one of the greatest receivers of all time, talent-wise. I don't understand how you can go out and do...
No, it doesn't especially when they could have really used that game to go 3-0 to go and tie the Eagles. Yeah. Now... Do you see who they're playing next? These next 2 games?
Just like the Carolina game last year. They had Carolina. They had them. They had them. And that's a huge, huge, huge distraction.
More good news for you. You know who the next 2 games are?
Yeah, Vikings and Packers.
At both. At Lambeau, at the new field in Minnesota, and Minnesota arguably playing the best football in the NFL.
Yeah,
and at Lambeau is one of the most difficult places to win
and on top
in the
of
NFL.
All that, Jennings was out last week, and now Shane
Vereen. I saw conflicting reports saying he will be out for the year. He won't be out for the year.
At the very least.
He's missing a big chunk of time. got to think about making a move for Carlos Williams. Maybe there's C.J. Spiller's working out for the Jets. Maybe if he doesn't go there, maybe they try and pick him up.
You have semi-healthy Rashad Jennings. Bobby Rainey clearly is getting snaps. That's nothing special.
It's just
Paul Perkins is a
it's
rookie.
Potentially a disaster.
I don't know why Ray Rice hasn't gotten a call, to be completely honest.
I don't know.
That's a whole nother story.
If Greg Hardy got another shot, I think Ray Rice. He just got arrested again for substance.
And now I was talking
cocaine,
about this in class
reportedly.
with somebody last night, and we were talking about this at about 7 o'clock. I said it's crazy that Ray Rice hasn't gotten a chance the way Hardy has, and then the Hardy thing came out, and
it's crazy. So anyways, we're moving on to the New York Jets. Wow. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't know how many times I have to say it or who I have to talk to, who I have to rant to on Twitter and talk about that this guy was not even worth $8 million in my eyes. I don't care what kind of receivers he has or the running back, one of the best pass-catching running backs, the best pass-catching running back since LT, for sure, okay? And Matt Forte, and they have a nice backup in Bilal Powell, and they just got Austin Seferian-Jenkins now, but that's obviously before that.
Right.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, okay? You ready for this stat? 0-23 all-time against winning teams on the road. But yet, for some reason, they wanted to use him for another year, okay, for $12 million to try and get them to the playoffs. So let me get this right. A guy that has never won a game against a winning team on the road is the guy you want as your quarterback when you have playoff aspirations, when all you do in the playoffs is play on the road because you're not winning the division against the Patriots. So you want this guy to go in and win a game there. Mark Sanchez has won games against winning teams on the road, okay?
Ryan Fitzpatrick should still be the Jets quarterback, if we're being quite honest.
No, I don't want to hear about that. That experiment happened. It was done. Geno shouldn't be on the team either. That experiment was used. It was done. He was horrible. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he couldn't beat the Bills at all last year. I don't care if he won this week. This past Thursday on a short week. Don't want to hear it because that Bills defense is completely overrated, okay? And you really want to talk about how we have Seattle coming up next at home. Russell Wilson is playing. He's going to have a knee brace on. They just confirmed that, okay?
Good news
Guess the 2 games after that. At Pittsburgh, at Arizona. You don't think those 2 teams are pissed off that they want to win those games?
Well, yeah, because those are. I was just about to
never
say,
have beaten Pittsburgh.
All 3 of those teams are. I mean, obviously the Seahawks lost 2 weeks ago to the Rams on the road, but they're coming off that. Arizona just came off. I don't know what happened against.
No one knows what happened there.
No idea,
it's just more of a Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan really wanted to have a great defense. Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, and Pittsburgh too, coming off 3 points against the Eagles.
Yes, very surprising. But at the same time, they get Le'Veon Bell back.
They do get Le'Veon Bell back. That's
and they're gonna have Antonio. It's a whole new game.
D'Angelo, you could still play.
D'Angelo has a good goal line back if you need him to. So even then, so at Pittsburgh, at Arizona, you could chalk them up for 2 losses. I'm telling you right now, they never beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is one of the better Cardinals teams ever. Guess who they get when they get back home? The Baltimore Ravens, another tough team. When
do they get New England?
That's the point. They don't play New England until afterwards. I don't think they play them until after their bye week.
They should have been able to capitalize on these first 3 weeks.
It is absolutely pathetic between Nick Folk missing the field goal and getting the extra point miss also. So that doesn't put him in a good position. And then what about Kansas City? 6 interceptions. 6 interceptions. He's going to throw more interceptions in one game than the amount of games they will win all year.
My bigger question is for Todd Bowles is why was he still in the game after the 4th?
Because you know what the sad part is? Look who's backing him up. The worst one of.
But how many?
I know.
How many picks
he should have been out of the game. Yes, he should have been out of the game. He should not be in that game.
How many picks could he have thrown? Honestly,
there was the sequence on the 5th pick. 3 straight. The 2 throws before that on 1st and 2nd down should have been picked off, and they were deflected. And he was lucky they did not catch those. The 3rd one, he throws it right over for a pick.
For someone that went to Harvard, you'd think he'd know who's on his team and who's not on his team.
But that shows how hard it is to be an NFL quarterback. It's quick thinking, it's right decisions, it's mechanics.
Yeah, but is his brain upside down? How do you throw 6 picks?
I think he cashed down, and that was it. There was a reason the guy was a journeyman. I don't care. Last year they had a good offense. They have a talented offense, and this offense this year is also talented.
It's the same.
It's the same
plus
offense.
Forte.
Yes,
It's
I know.
better.
Yeah, it's better than last year. And Quincy Enunwa was better than last year.
Yeah.
And now when they get Safarian Jenkins, it's a huge talent upgrade at tight end. Despite if he's getting DUIs or not, he's still talented. Okay, so at the end of the day, where are you gonna go here? They're gonna be a mediocre team and get a mediocre pick in next year's draft. Where's Calvin Pryor doing? Calvin Pryor's been absolute garbage all season. He's completely gone south compared to last year when he was playing better. Darrelle Revis is not Revis anymore, okay? Buster Screen, where are the turnovers, the sacks? Is that Jets defensive front really that good? The linebackers are kind of weak. What's Sheldon Richardson doing? What's going on? What's happening? Mo Wilkerson, you just got that huge contract extension. He's only gotten 10 sacks in a year once, I think, this past season. There's a bunch of guys that are not rising up to expectations, and it's typical Jet stuff, and it makes you scratch your head and think, when are you actually just gonna go and take a risk like the Eagles did and go try and draft a quarterback that high up? I don't care if they did it with Mark Sanchez a couple years ago. I'm talking about a guy that comes out that is highly regarded like Wentz, Luck, or...
And look how it's working out for Philly. It's working out perfect.
Right away, because you know what?
Finally, something has worked out in their favor, but it's working out
They
fine.
used to have Donovan McNabb. They went to a bunch of AFC championships.
I'm saying, the last few, Chip Kelly absolutely
They lost to
team.
one of the best dynasties of all time. Considered the best dynasty of all time in the Patriots dynasty when they lost that year.
Right.
Okay, so there's no hanging your head on that one. But I mean, you really look back on it. The two second-round picks.
You have to look at the whole league. Look how quarterbacks have turned out. Jameis is turning into what we assumed Jameis was going to be. Mariota, same thing. Carson Wentz, it's 3 games. It's
Mariota's like he's still on the fence for it. He has
many
no
weapons.
He has nothing. He has nothing.
He has a running game, but that doesn't help him.
But yeah, so what? It doesn't mean anything at this point.
But we saw in spurts last year what he could do before he got hurt. Delaney Walker's also out. They got rid of Dorial Greenback. He doesn't have any help.
He's got a washed up Andre Johnson
Yeah,
and Tajay Sharp, who's really. I mean, he was a mini camp training camp hero. I mean, he'll probably be a good slot guy at best. But they really don't have any talent there. But to go back to the Jets, they don't have the time to do this. Brandon Marshall, this might be his last year of his career, okay? And then on top of that, Decker doesn't have that many years left. Quincy Enunwa is probably going to be expensive once his deal is up. Matt Forte is not going to last that long. There's going to be a huge overhaul on that roster sometime soon.
And on the defensive side, it's going to be a new defense eventually. I mean,
that front defensive front is going to be there for a while because they just signed Mo. It's only
not the secondary because Revis. How much more does Revis have?
Revis has got to switch positions. He's got to he's got to play nickel or go to safety.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, it comes with age. I mean, you can't.
It comes with age. I don't care. He's the best. He's the second best cornerback of all time.
I think it's unbelievable that people are going to actually sit here and bash Revis.
You can. He's the second. He's the second best cornerback of all time.
A World Pro track runner ran by him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second best cornerback of all time. I don't care what anyone says. If he didn't go to the Patriots would have not won that Super Bowl. They say he coat-rided Tom Brady to win that Super Bowl. I say if it wasn't for Revis, they would have not have won that Super Bowl because he completely changed that defense. And look what happened last year when he left. The Patriots were really not the same on defense, even though it was overhaul on the roster on the defense. But still.
Yeah.
But still, it's the best cornerback since Deion Sanders, and there are a lot of people who argue that he is better than Deion Sanders, considering the rules changes and how you're not allowed to touch any guys at all anymore on defense. So, anyways, that'll wrap it up for us this week on PMP Sports. We'll be back next week. More basketball news. College basketball is starting in a couple days.
Yep.
Hope to have Jaden Daly back on with us soon. Probably have some more guests, probably some athletes, hopefully
Definitely
basketball players to have some in on here. Talk more about that. End of the season for baseball.
Playoffs.
Wild card race. Playoffs are going to start. Wild card games. Very exciting stuff. It's the most exciting time of year for all sports. October is the best sports month in the whole year. Even March and April, too, are just as good. Yep. But October might be untouched. Hockey starting up as well. Okay, PMP Sports. Matt and Martino here from the basement of La Penta. Thanks for listening.